Boom, story time. So, guys, one time I was at home being good, being myself. Then, let's just say, um, 15 minutes later, school started because, the principal did so 1 week, Saturdays and Sundays were school, of course. I hated that week, but I knew it was over. So, on the Sunday that we were at school, it was a microburst watch, and it was a microburst. And microburst can do F3 tornado damage, which is pretty bad, like really, really bad damage, like demolishing homes. But yeah, let's hope that's not going to be in the story. So we were going to the area where, oh god, I just fell. We were in the area, it was in our area, Countyville, the watch, and we were really nervous, like really, really nervous. Like so nervous you guys wouldn't believe, because every time there was like a severe thunderstorm watch, we would freak out. But now that we heard that it could be like tornado damage, which is basically tornado, we would be like, whoa, that is not right. We do not want this in the area. Because we were like, doesn't that crap happen in like Kansas and Oklahoma stuff? And we're like, we don't want that here, because like, isn't that not the area that we're supposed to in? Aren't we like not prone to tornadoes or something? We were pretty nervous for that, but of course, we were all super scared because we were thinking like, what if it was set to a warning? And right now it was like 12 o'clock, so 2 hours into actual school, which was terrifying because 2 hours later, when you're having a good time in school, there's like a microburst watch. It's scary, guys, trust me. I don't know if you've been in something like this, but it's scary, guys, trust me. Because like 4 minutes, like let's just say an hour later, it was set to a warning, and it started raining really hard, and the tree started swaying a little, and then the principal, of course, noticed this and sent us all to the interior bathrooms. So the teachers' washrooms are also downstairs, and we're upstairs. So the teachers' washrooms are way more interior. So we were put there, in case of any emergency. So while we were in the washrooms with books over our head in case of any debris would fly in, and we don't want any deaths in the school. As my stomach turned like I was on a roller coaster, I could start to hear the wind whipping outside, and then the principal announced on the PA, "It's here, and it's coming, guys. Brace for impact." And of course, that moment we all screamed. And the microburst tornado windstorm kind of thingy hit the school. It just hit the school. Like, just hit the school. Like, then all the windows blew out severely. All the windows just went boom. Then all the then the like roof peeled back like a band-aid with no hesitation. It just like went back, like with no one could ever like describe how it went back if you weren't there. It just like went back. Like, just imagine being under a band-aid and then this wind peels it off. That's what it's like. It's really scary, guys. Like, I can't even describe it if you were not there. Like, I would tell you guys, but I can't because you guys weren't there, and I won't be able to describe it properly. You would see, and you would like be like, Okay, I know how you feel if you were there. Comment down below, guys, if you experienced any of these traumatizing microbursts or tornadoes. Because trust me, guys, if you didn't, this is not what you want to do. So yeah, part 2 comes soon. Part 2, microbursts hitting the school when I was there. So yeah, I left off on the roof peeled back like a band-aid, which is not good because, like, don't they build schools out of brick these days? Because if I was talking about like 1880 something, like literally, I am not kidding, guys. The houses and the schools will probably be flattened after these severe winds. So, yeah, the wind, we were in that, it was like hovering over the school for, let's just say, like a minute and a half, which did so much damage to the school, guys, you wouldn't believe it. Literally, the classrooms were like kind of demolished inside. They had like gray dust everywhere. And if you guys know what I mean by gray dust everywhere, it's pretty scary if you think about it, but now that it's over, I'm happy. Literally, we got out to see so much bad damage. You guys wouldn't believe the damage that it did. Like, people were scared as it just ripped through the area. So yeah, that was story time 1. Story time on how I was at school and an intruder broke in. So this is a story about how I was at school and an intruder broke in and tried to harm me. So we were at school minding our own business, and then the lockdown procedures were on, and we were all scared, of course, because there was a lockdown procedure and it wasn't a drill. So there was this guy hovering around the school wearing black and had a weapon on him. So the principal did a severe lockdown warning, because weapons can do a lot. So he knew the school was open because he was like, I was scared because one time I was like seeing him approach the building, and then like look into our classroom. So he knew kids were here and stuff. So he knew that there was like victims for him, which who would think that? That is kind of psycho. So as we were playing, like everything kind of got tougher and tougher. I was like, he knew, cause we like all knew that that guy was hovering over the school. New classes were going on, so he knew there was victims for him. I felt really, really scared because I didn't know if my parents were like affected or anything by this, because I've never been through a school shooting, or like a real severe lockdown, because my cousin in 5th grade, she went through a lockdown where a guy actually shot one of the classmates and they sadly died. So yeah, that's her story, but mine is going on still. So it was really scary as the guy shattered our classroom window. Of course, this was a traumatizing day as he peeked into the room. I just died. My heart just dropped. I could not breathe. I thought this was the end of me. I started crying, to the silent crying, so he couldn't hear me and shoot me. Then he brought out a gun and started shooting holes in the classroom, thinking that was our disguise. And then he ran into the classroom beside us. I heard shotguns go off, and apparently he shot 3 5th graders and 2 1st graders. But thankfully they all survived. One was shot in the arm, the other was shot on the leg, and the other 2 were also shot on the arm. So it was really scary when he broke in. Of course, he was arrested. He's arrested for child abuse and fraud because before he robbed some buildings and also shot people. So he's arrested for fraud, murder, and child abuse. So that is Storytime Part 2. Storytime Part 3. Hi guys, Storytime Part 3 on how I survived a tsunami. So here we go. Part 3. Boom. So I was at the beach with my friends. We were having so much fun. Literally so much fun. We were near the coast of, I forgot, it was like a beach, but it is not, it's prone to tsunamis, but it has exactly 4 tsunamis a year, so we also got a bit nervous doing this, but of course, everything worked out totally. So as we were playing, everything was like perfectly fine until we get tsunami watches on our phones. Usually they don't give out watches, but maybe there's like a sign of an earthquake that's going under, and they said it could produce a wave over 60 feet tall, which is the size of my big pine cone tree in front of my house, which was scary because that is exactly 61 feet. So only chopping off 1 feet is still like massive. So as we were playing, it all got so bad, we all had the nerve to go home. Not back from the cottage, but to our house. Because the house is kind of on a hill. That would probably get severe. Then, as soon as we were walking out, tsunami warning. Of course that had to happen. Everyone was terrified. As you could see the big wave approaching. It looked massive and massive and massive and massive. It was bigger than the Asian tsunami that happened in 2004, which was still super deadly. But this one caused 306 deaths. But the Asian tsunami had over 100,000, which was really sad. So what we're saying now is, literally guys, it literally washed up the houses that were planted on a beach that had people in them. And of course, the people had to be inside the houses when the tsunami hit, and they were like decapitated, the houses. Sorry for using that word, it's just kind of funny. I was really scared as like it approached our house, and I didn't want it to get washed up away, but our house was made out of the thin wood, like the cottagey wood, and I was terrified as it hit the house, and our house started floating like a duck that you have in the shower. Floating like a duck that you have in the shower. I was scared. I almost died because there was this big, thick piece of wood and a lot of sharp metal, and the house flipped over. And I was not alone in it. Literally, my 1-year-old cousin survived all of this. As the house flipped over, literally, the roof just disintegrated from the area because we were scared. And water started being let into the house, which made the house start to sink. And of course, it flipped back over, making all that water splash onto us. And mind you, the water was filled with sticks and branches, so got a bunch of cuts. Of course, I didn't let it go on my head first. We let it go on our backs first, so the cuts would just be on our back and not our head, because heads are a bit more, is really more severe. So we protect our heads and faces as it went down on us. Of course, the tsunami was rated intensity 5, which I was scared because, like, intensity 5, pretty scary, guys, right? Hope you enjoyed. Tell me if you guys have ever survived any severe tsunami like or wave like or any severe storms. So yeah. Part 4, story time. So here we go, how I survived Hurricane Dorian. So we were relaxing in our cottage, which is about a mile away from our house is, which is about like maybe a couple hours, which everyone was like scared of because we've never all been to a cottage before. It was kind of our first time. So when it was our first time, we were all like, we're down in the coast. What if like a bad tornado happens? And of course, we knew when our parents were like, don't worry, kids, nothing will happen. It's just all in your thoughts. You guys will be okay. Do not worry one bit. We will protect you if any bad storm happens. So, as we were walking through, as we were walking down to the beach, of course, we got a hurricane warning. We all went to the cellar and got under the mattress immediately because we do not want to die in a hurricane. Of course, we were all freaking out, the kids, because we knew something bad was going to happen. Later, we found out Category 3, which is still really bad, but yeah. So as we were playing, it got really scary because if you were in the middle of having a fun time at your cottage, and then apparently there's hurricane warning, it's scary, guys, trust me, because I was in it. Hurricane Dorian was really intense, as our house just crumbled to pieces as the hurricane hit it immediately. Everyone was just scared. When I mean scared, even the grown-ups were freaking out. We all let out that one big scream as the house, its roof just peeled back and everything else just demolished the windows. There was a bunch of glass that was everywhere in the area. So it was really dangerous because the mattress was putting weight on us, which was straining my neck, which it was not comfortable. We were under a tiny mattress with about 15 people. How is that gonna save our lives? It's probably gonna break my neck as the roof falls on the mattress. There is so much freaking weight on me, I cannot survive. Of course I did, but with a really bad neck strain. After, of course, we were all petrified if another one would happen, but we got a part 2 of Dorian. Dorian was really bad. It felt like Category 5 because we got out and our house was kind of crumbled to pieces, but there was a bit of wood and there was a bunch of all that was left was our foundation and some walls of our house, which probably means completely demolished, but yeah. So as we were trying to think of good thoughts during Dorian, and playing with God and praying in our minds, Dorian struck. No one could ever breathe after saying Dorian, because after Dorian, everyone was like, oh, how's the cottage? And they're like, oh, I heard Hurricane Dorian happened there. Are you okay? I'm just like, hey, let's change the topic here because my uncle almost died in that. And they're like, please, I really want to hear. I tell you all my survival stories. When they tell me one fake story about an F5 hitting their house, come on, dude. You don't need to be that dramatic. I don't have to tell you about my sad, devastating experience, sir. And he's like, fine. And then, yeah, so just so you guys know, if anyone experienced a hurricane or any bad storm that has to do with that, don't keep asking them because someone could have died that they love in that storm. So yeah, guys, that was part 4 of story time. Part 5 on story time on how I survived the El Reno tornado. So here we go, guys. Boom, chicka lacka, chicka boom. So El Reno was in a state of emergency. As an F5 was kind of intimate. Well, they couldn't predict tornadoes then, but they were like kind of like thinking because of the intensity of the storm on the radar F5. Of course, thankfully, we were all hoping it would be less than an F4, anything but an F4, because an F4 can just sweep your house off the foundation. So can your so with your barn and your, if you have a brick house, all you'll have would be a bit of the foundation, but a wooden, nice modern house will be swept off its foundation, which is not nice, but things happen, guys. Things happen. Of course, thankfully, the El Reno tornado was an F3, not an F5. So as we were put under the warning and not the watch anymore, everyone started freaking out. As we remember, they predicted something like an F5, so we thought it would be an F5, but it was actually an EF3. So as everyone just started freaking their heads off, we all ran to the basement and of course took cover as the storm ripped a path through El Reno with literally some counties got no warning. We only got we were so lucky we weren't in Titsville, because Titsville had 4 neighborhoods wiped before there was a tornado warning, which I feel is so wrong. But things happen, like I said, guys, things happen. But literally, as the storm tore through, you could just feel a house lift from the foundation, get tossed into the air, slam back down, top floor gets demolished, and there is like nothing left but debris and some stable foundation, which is made out of like splinters of wood. The El Reno was the largest tornado in history. It was really scary, guys. You would not want to experience it because it is literally scary. Just imagine being in an F3 as all your house gets torn apart. So yeah, guys, if you guys enjoyed that, this is my first ever story time. Bye.